So today, you don't see her or hear her, but she's here and ever present.
She lurks in the light, tiptoed, nimble.
Her name is Ray.
She's cute.
And she is part of the reason we have what we have right now. And she used a phrase today called God winks.
Little God winks.
And I love it because I just feel like I get a lot of God winks. I don't even know if it's her term, but like the point, I'm sure somebody's going to write into us and be like, that's my term.
It's God sminks.
Yeah.
Get it right?
Yeah. So credit to the person who brought this up, but this idea that you're moving through your life and you're like, show me a sign, or right, or I need some sort of validation of rightness, of direction. And so I really live my life by God winks. So I wanted to just have an episode or a conversation around all the ones that happen in our life and see how long we can go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still real?
Still real.
Still real.
Okay, I want to open it with one.
Yeah, see? And
right.
then we're just going to go until we can't go anymore. So buckle up, because if we're here for 5 weeks, no, I'm just kidding. But let's tell me. Juicy God wink.
This is a cool thing. As somebody that's coming back into really putting a lot of care into walking with God again. Not that I didn't ever realize I wasn't not walking with God. Mm-hmm. I think that maybe it felt like I was interacting more with a reflection of someone rather than...
the idea of a God.
Yeah. So as somebody that's wading back into those faith-led waters very thoughtfully, I had a moment the other day. I was in the middle of doing some deep, Dharma-oriented writing or purpose-driven, mission-driven writing. And I was just a little overstimulated from it. And I was like, ooh. And so what do? I'm like, man, I could get I need a hit of some funny cats on Instagram. I need a dopamine hit. So I pick up my phone to do the very thing a few episodes back we just said, get off your phones, right? And I'm about to go into scroll, but I had a quick moment to pause. And I was like, God, I am looking for I want a little connection with you. So please, my prayer is let the next thing that pops up when I go into Instagram, let it be a message from you. I'm like, what kind of sweet message or uplifting theme or whatever? What in my algorithm? What's it going to reflect back to me?
Yeah, because the algorithm's God.
Yeah. I open my Instagram and it doesn't go to a feed. It goes to my most recent conversation I was having with an acquaintance who asked me, are you in Austin? And I responded back, I am.
Boom.
I dropped God, let me know, give me a God wink. I am. The great I am, let me know in my freaking DMs.
The great I am. Yeah.
The great I am.
Yeah.
That was just, I was like, okay. That was just there's a mic drop moment. If there was anything so clear and so sweet, I was just like, yeah, that's not subjective at all. That is quite overt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Now I love that one. Because it's like, wait, are you in Instagram? After we did all of this talking about shit talk. Sorry, God, we shit talked Instagram, but you're doing some of your work up in Instagram.
So good.
Oh man, I have so many. Well, the first one is coming up. It's so strong, and it's interesting because how was it a God wink? It was definitely a God wink, but how it doesn't transpire as what you would think normal God winks are. But I was coming home from the hospital. My dad was in Stanford Medical, and he had cancer, and at that point we didn't know he was dying, but he had a really bad outcome of his surgery. And I thought to myself, I also have to say that he was also randomly placed, because it was COVID, by the labor and delivery ward, and then his ward. It was very strange.
Whoa.
But so I kept having to walk by labor and delivery, and I was like, am I gonna have a baby? Like, it was just this weird thing, but we got bad news, and I just didn't feel my strength. I didn't feel like this God was like, how come a good man is suffering? I really feel that you're there, but I just don't understand why hard things happen to really good people. Like, for sure, if you're a lowlife, it should happen to you. Right? Like, this is my logic, right? I literally
gosh,
was
so
I was like,
savage.
Yeah, no, but that was
You're
like,
like,
I'm like, yeah, I was like, you're an asshole. Good. God, smite.
Oh my gosh.
Smite him, God.
I'm like, oh no, because I can be such an a-hole.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but we have reasons for that. If you're just purely one, then you get smitten by God or smited by God.
Smite.
What is it?
Smited.
Yeah, so here I am trying to play God, smiting all the
Love
people
that
that
for
I think
you.
deserve it, but except for my dad. He does
Yeah.
not deserve the
Yeah.
smiting. So I just was like, this is strange. This is a strange conversation I'm having with you, and I just need you to show me it's going to be okay. And so I drove home, bam, double rainbow. It doesn't rain in California. It's like a massive drought. I was like, okay. Then I get to my house, bam, double full rainbow over the place that I lived.
A separate double rainbow.
Separate. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was the same physics. I don't know. But it like felt like two separate
Yeah.
moments of a rainbow. And I thought, okay, are you sure this is my sign? Like that's what I asked for the first rainbow. So that's why the second rainbow is supposed to come, because it's like, yes, girl,
Yeah.
this is your sign that it's going to be okay. And in hindsight, my father passed away. So was it okay? Right? And I was pregnant with Nico, but I didn't know it. So I know I get chills because there I was. Yeah, like pendulum of life and death.
Yes.
It wasn't okay, but it was okay. Right? And it wasn't okay that, he died. But then it's like, oh, well, did he die? Because I hear him all the time. He's with me all the time. So his form is different. And where the heck did Nico come from? I mean, I know where he came from. Like, this is not like a miracle birth. Like, there's a baby inside me. But the timing of it. And there's this movie, Soul, where, the number 22, which, by the way, my son is born on the 22nd.
Weird.
And the dying soul helps that soul come to earth. And I was like, oh yeah, this is what's going down here. There was just like this, the okayness and the rightness that I was hoping for. It was. So even when things don't look right on the outside, that was my moment, the double rainbow. And then you had said in our last shoot with somebody, oh, you turned a thunderstorm into a double rainbow. That's what you said to her. Yeah, you said to her. And I was like over there trying not to ugly cry in front of our client because I was like, well, she was there, like what, and that was just that was the message. The message was you can turn a thunderstorm into a double rainbow, and I do, and I should credit myself, and my dad did, and that's his legacy, and my mom does, and my brother, and so, yeah, the double rainbow.
Whoa, that's so cool. I love the concept of how, that's not the concept, I love the reality that God can use people, whether they know it or not, to share God's heart with us, whether they realize it, and even in passing or a one-off experience. I have a moment.
Also, the sirens are going like crazy. So anytime a siren comes by me, that's my like, yeah, girl.
Wow.
I mean, I made that rule, so there
Okay.
you go.
I like that.
The
I like
sign
that rule.
in the signs is the sign episode.
Okay, this is I don't know if it's a God wink or like a God punch in the face moment of
Yeah.
just like such an overt,
Wink.
amazing moment. Second year of ministry school, we did a bit of a welcoming in to the first year students we would fast and pray, and I mean, New Agey folks would use the term channel. We would listen and be in a state of prayer, and have there would be 2 second-year students and then a first year, and this is like a whole room of, there's like 200 people that are listening for these newcomers, and just we want to just fill their cup and give them some purpose and intention for being able to just come into the new school year feeling like, yeah, just being loved on and having some direction. So it's quite rigorous, because you're Christianese would call it prophesying. New Agey circles may call it channeling, or seeing, for whatever. We're just in a state of seeing if we can hear anything and share it. And if it's uplifting and life-giving, we share it. And so we're doing this for like 6 hours. So it's like students come in, we're like in a state, and then we share, hey, like I see a guitar. Like, is there anything that means anything to you? Or like, man, I'm really hearing this message, or I'm having this feeling. So we're doing clairaudience, clairvoyance, and clairsentience. Clairsentience is your nose, smells. And I was very comfortable with clairvoyance. I could see imagery for people.
Yeah.
And we're like in hour 5. There's this gentleman sitting in front of us, and for the story's sake, whatever, he's an interesting guy, middle-aged guy, comes, sits down, and I'm like praying, I'm like, my eyes are closed, I'm considering him, I'm considering his presence. I'm not hearing anything, I'm not seeing anything, and I'm like, okay, but anything? And then I'm like, I smell the best fried chicken. And I'm like, it's 4 p.m. We're not down the hallway from a cafeteria. There's nothing like that. No one is like heating up their lunch. That doesn't make sense. And I'm just smelling this good fried chicken. And I'm like, oh man, am I just really hungry right now? Like, okay, this just smells really good. And I was like, I'm just going to send it. And so this man I've never met before is sitting there. The other person says what they see over this person. And I'm like, all right, I just smell fried chicken. I'm sorry. And he looks at me and he's like, are you serious?
Oh.
And he starts crying. He's like, it's hitting me right now. He's like, my mentor was mentored by Colonel Sanders.
Oh my God.
Colonel Sanders
That's
was a
very
minister.
Specific smell of fried chicken too. Right. KFC is
I smelled God's fried chicken, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
But it was the craziest moment of, again,
oh my goodness,
trusting such a blind, like, it wasn't cool. I wasn't not a lot of people. I hadn't seen people speak prophetically through smell and describing smell. That was just an unusual one. And so that's one of my favorite little mini moments. And it was the perfect form of encouragement for that gentleman. And it was so private and personal. Of course, how could I know that his mentor's mentor was...
No, there's no way.
Right?
There's no way. And I think also that he was sitting in front of you for you to be willing to say fried chicken out loud in front of all these people.
Yeah.
Like, you were the one that would have that courage to say it. Well, so the animal thing comes up for me a lot. And I'll see the literal animal, but I'll also have a lot of dreams, or, because there's some that aren't local to where we are. But one of them is like, so I'll tell you the peacock story, and then I'll tell you the cardinal story.
Okay.
The cardinal story is that when we first got to Austin, it was, again, ripe. Like, I was still, just moved to a new place. I had my 2 little babies, and my dad had just passed. This was like, and it was like a couple. Like, it was best friend passing. Like, there was like a lot, happening. Plus hormones, like all that. And so I really kept asking, just let me know you're with me. Give me a sign of right direction. Like, I'm making these huge decisions for my family. Like, I want to say that I'm very super confident in all these things, but just tell me. And so this cardinal that my son named Charlie, like literally perches right outside our window and cannot be found until I ask the question, am I in the right direction? Boom, Charlie. If I'm walking in the neighborhood and I'm just like musing on something, boom, Charlie flies by. Like this one red cardinal. Not
How do you know it's the
Cecil.
one? Is he bald?
Well, who knows? I mean, because
okay.
like, but the point is like the red cardinal.
Yeah.
And I just say it's Charlie, but it looks like Charlie. Like, I don't know. It's
I've seen
Charlie.
a bald cardinal.
This is Charlie's not bald. Charlie has got a full thing. And yeah, so Charlie. And so this neighborhood has quite the like sign thing going. And one day, and me and this like we're signs in the rain where it doesn't rain. Okay, so Texas in a drought. So my team and my coach in separate meetings on the same day were like, you draw what you see for other people, but you don't draw it for yourself. Oh. And you need a logo mark. And I was like, nah. Right, like I'm so cool for a logo mark. I'm a brander. I don't need a logo mark. And instantly a peacock flashed in both meetings. Mm. And I was like, no, that's too obvious. Why? I don't know. Because I'm Indian. Like, I don't know. I was like, okay. Peacock's too obvious. So, like, I could do a fair amount of stubborn pushback with God. Like, fair enough. I'll admit it. Universe, God, whatever you think, whatever your... that pushback that you do, like, this can't be possible. So then I go for my walk and I'm like, you know what? Let me just simmer down and attempt what's my sign, God? Like, what would be my logo mark? And I get, again, a flash of peacock feather. I was like, can you give me, like, a better sign? Like, something better. So I'm at the end of my walk, and at this point, I'm not doubting. I actually forgot that I asked, and I'm really just in a... like Ushi relaxed stage, right? Because that's why I walk, my own mental health. Like by the end of my walk, I'm so like, and then beginning of the walk, don't talk to me. And I think even my neighbors are aware of that. So I look down, there's an oil slick in the ground in the shape of a peacock feather. Mm. And the only way that oil slick can happen is like mist, like there's gotta be moisture and oil, none of which were around. So I was like, yeah, I looked down, I'm like, all right. And then I still didn't really listen. And then in my next walk a week later, totally different spot, peacock feather with an oil, like it looks like, I took a picture of it. In fact, I printed it out huge and everyone's like, this is the most beautiful work of art. I'm like, like a picture of my iPhone, I'm not gonna say anything, but I think it's like they feel me in it, right? So I say this, it's a God wink, but it's like literally my process with somebody. When I see them, I see a sign, a symbol. That person's a hummingbird, right? That person, the owl is like whatever their symbol is. And of course, when I tell them, oh my God, there's always like a story as to why that symbol is so meaningful. And if you look at the symbology of a peacock feather, it is everything I want to give to people in my work. And it's everything that I stand for. And there's an I in the peacock feather, right? For the seeing me method. I didn't know that I was going to formalize the method into that then. And then, you know, you'll see on the artwork of the book, there is a eye that's, and my husband thinks they're shells, but they can be shells, but it's like, it's coming from a feather shell bee. Maybe they're shells. But I mean, incidentally, we didn't know we were going to tell that shell story, and you put that on and we told that shell story of you and the British Virgin Islands. But see, like that's the symbology of it. And then, you know, a nod to Ray, again, who said the God wink thing. I did, right before I had Ryan, I had 3 red-tailed hawks circled my building in San Francisco. And red-tailed hawks, absolutely, you see them everywhere in the nature around San Francisco. But like in the industrial part, it was pretty rare.
And 3.
What? And they did it for about a week before. Then I had him, and then a week after. And then when I recognized that they were there, they left. Like the minute I was like, oh, that's interesting. You came because Ryan was born. They were gone. And it was almost like the timing was that you have to recognize I'm there. And so I'm not there to stay forever. I'm just there for the recognition. Because once you have the recognition, you don't need to see it. So those animals, that spot, like I've seen owls. I've seen things that just don't. A porcupine. I saw a freaking porcupine.
Cool.
Yeah, like porcupines don't live in the middle of Austin, do they? I guess they do, but
I don't know.
that little chubby little porcupine. It was so cute. But that was like about protection and yeah.
So, what's an actionable for someone listening that's like, whoa, I want to hear from God like this. I want to see these. How can I start to hear that language of the Spirit? What advice would you give someone?
Ask. And then have the eyes to see it. You're not going to see it if you're rushing through life. Right? You're not going to see it if you have doubt in your heart. Right? There was an element, too, of forgetting about the ask. Like, literally just, oh, yeah, I asked. There's no desperation in the ask. Mm. But we don't ask. And, like, this thing about if God is this, like, punishing source that wants to see you struggle on earth, that doesn't make sense to me. I think he's on my side. She's on my side. They, whatever you say. Like, I really want this to be a universal thing for people to hear, that it's on your side. God, the universe, this energy is on your side. And I think it's hard to believe that in the tragedy and the atrocities that we see. It's hard to believe that if you've had trauma in your life. Like, come on. How would anybody that loves me let something like this happen? So I think that's a very real question for people, possibly a lot of the people listening. So it's not fluff. I'm not saying it's fluff, but I don't think that's how it works. I think how it works is that we are here with free will and someone's got our back. There's a hand, an invisible hand. I think some people call it grace. I like that, grace, because it doesn't make it so religious. The hand of grace. Yeah, ask for the hand of grace. Ask for this sign. You're still in responsibility. Like, you're still like, I'm going to make the choice and I'm going to live my life. But it'd be nice if you just gave me a little wink. Right? Yeah.
So just listen. Slow down enough to listen and ask.
You'll get it. I mean, some of my friends, they talk about dimes that their loved ones leave behind, like their their grandmother who's passed, and they always see a dime when they want that. So I think you just ask for one, you'll get one. And then you'll see me, a little elf in the back, trying to make the sign happen. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just...
Literally, when you were describing the cardinals, I was like, so if I ever need Ushi to say yes on something, I'm just going to get a couple cardinals and just start pelting 100%. On her way.
100%.
Yes.
You know, one showed up in our last shoot.
Yeah.
And again, like, it wasn't Charlie. That would have been a long flight for Charlie.
Charlie flew a long way.
I know. Well, Jesus in the corner.
Yes.
Like the card.
That was honestly a God wink. I
didn't ask for one. Like, our client didn't ask for one, but was really like, Jesus was very important to her.
Yes. Yeah. And the context of her was like, again, a titan of a human that's gone through hell and back.
Yeah.
Lived to tell the tale. Most open-hearted, gentle-spirited person I've seen in quite some time. And her hope and her joy and her delight, you know, and I had the opportunity to really get the real scoop about, did you ever flip God the bird? Because I have, through what I've gone through. And she was like, no, through any of those things, I just knew that God must have a really big plan for me. And that bright-eyedness about her and her presence, we literally go downstairs to take photos of her portraits. There's a picture of Jesus that got placed there in the corner from somebody pushing their religious agenda. But regardless of the agenda, it was like we've worked at that venue multiple times.
Never saw a card in the corner of Jesus. No.
And there's, you know, a portrayal of Jesus there and how special that was to her.
Yeah.
And her wearing her, you know, well, I'm going to rat her out. She's wearing, you know, a cross.
Yeah.
And
it was meaningful to her, that sign. And to somebody else, you walk by it and you're like, who littered? Right? That's other people's interpretation of that. You know, I had another one that wasn't like an animal, that was, if you're just like this is really important for like life trajectory or anyone who's like asking about careers. I said the same thing. I was like, I just don't know what I'm supposed to be in the world. And I would just love for you to show me. And I was getting on a plane. And so I get on this plane and I sit next to this, like, I mean, hopefully he never hears me say this, but like the most goofy sweetheart of a man sat next to me. And because he was like 6'6" in the middle and his knees were like up to his ears. And I had Iron Man on, and he turns to me, and you know how like in the plane, like sometimes you want to talk to people and sometimes you're like, oh, whatever. Yeah. But he turns to me and he's like, oh, so you like Iron Man? And I'm like, no. He's like, well, why are you watching it? I was like, well, I like superheroes, but Iron Man's not my choice. And he's like, clearly that was the right thing to say to this man, because he was like, oh, well, let's have a heroes conversation. So the only reason I'm astute in heroes conversations is because my brother is obsessed with all this stuff, so he keeps me posted. It's not because I am like equipped to have this conversation, but this guy thinks I'm a genius because I'm having a conversation. So we strike up a conversation. He's this like really lovely man. Fast forward, he's the CEO of one of the biggest companies in the world.
No.
Not just the US, the world.
Wow.
And I'm like, what the heck are you doing back here in Coach, right? Like, whatever. And what he said to me is that part of his decision with his wife was that they would he said, make no mistake, I just got back from Pebble Beach, where me and my buddy, it was his birthday, we drove Lamborghinis and golfed Pebble Beach. Like, make no mistake, I enjoy my wealth. But for every plane flight he takes during the year, which he's constantly traveling, he doesn't go sit in first class, and he takes the Delta and he invests in the kids of his employees. And that's just like one of the things he does. So he's sitting back there in Coach. And I was like, how did I get to sit next to this gentleman who showed me what a real leader is? Or at least in my estimation, I respect him for his leadership choice. And I mean, like, what are the chances? And then I am like, oh, these useless conversations with my brother about Marvel comics, which they're not useless. I'm actually obsessed. But like at that point, I was like, don't tell me, there's so much more in life to know. Allowed me to have this conversation with this man who showed, like, again, like I was probably reaching for some things that weren't totally aligned for me at that time regarding external success. I mean, I most definitely was. And here's somebody who taught me like I could do it my own way and in a way that mattered. And then he told me, I was too young to understand the gift of this. He's like, just send me a report of what you're going through every quarter and I'll mentor you. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't understand. What? Yeah. I didn't understand what he was saying and how valuable that was. And I'm sure now I could reach out. But the point being is like, there's always a hand. There's always an invisible hand looking to support you. And I don't know that I was asking the question in like some sort of massive faith even. Like, it wasn't like that was the ingredient. The only ingredient was the ask. You know, and the curiosity as to what's coming and the eyes to see it. You gotta be able to you gotta slow down enough to be like, wait a second, that's an outlier, right? If we rush past that picture, we would have never seen that synchronicity, right? And I think the more aligned we are to who we are, the more we amp that synchronicity. That's the game, you know, like that's the fun part of it. And it's just, it's how I want to live. I mean, this is another conversation we've had. Like, I want strategy, I want sound business practice, but I also want to be visually led. It works every time for me.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Still real?
Still real.
Still real.
On this show, we dive headfirst into the untamed, often hilarious, and always honest realities of life as ambitious women. You know, the kind of stuff that delights your inner child and gives her permission to play. We know you're multi-hyphenated, ultra-successful in your own right, and you crave real connection. So, consider this your intimate invitation to the most intriguing tea party of your week, where vulnerability is our superpower, quirks are celebrated, and the truth is always poured piping hot. Your seat is always waiting for you at our table. And be sure to visit our website, stillreal.studio, to join our next event.